Okay. Welcome, guys. Doing a stream for the first time in a long time on the Cone Club Cult channel. In fact, I am going to shout this out on Discord real quick. Brandon, while I do that, why don't you go ahead and give a little introduction about yourself and your position?
I'm Brother Brandon. I hold to the King James Bible. I believe it should be the authority for all doctrine in regards to Christianity. So that is, Smokey and I are here to discuss young Earth versus old Earth model.
Yeah, I mean, really, and yeah, so we are also kind of like in particular interested in one particular component of this, which is about what I think is kind of a little bit of an existential moral dilemma for young Earth creationists, and usually generally cited as young Earth creationists or the young Earth side. Are you breathing into the mic? What was that? Was that?
Sorry,
Well,
dude.
yeah.
I do have to. This mic sucks, so I have to like hold it right
Oh no,
to my
that's fine.
mouth.
I was just checking.
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
know.
move
I
it.
want to make sure
Yeah,
you weren't having
it
a
is.
stroke or something. So
No,
okay,
I
all
was,
right.
that music you started with got me all worked up. No.
Okay. That's my old intro I had a long time ago. All right. I just shouted this out on Discord, so hopefully this will even get us a little traffic. I didn't make a thumbnail or anything, but I'll do that later. So anyway, okay. So here's the deal. Here's my premise. I'm just going to give you the thesis and I'll give you as much time as you want to respond to it. Young Earth scientists at some point in their career have to be comfortable lying. And they do it prolifically in their field. And as an example, many of these supposedly top of their field young Earth creation scientists that are claimed by the young Earth creation, proponents, they do have lots of published papers to get them to their position. These published papers are submitted for peer review in their respective fields many times, and they are from an old Earth perspective. Now, they don't believe in an old Earth, but they use old Earth science with other old Earth scientists cited and have their old Earth science cited in other scientific works, which is, of course, how it all operates in terms of citations and relying upon each other's works to come to conclusions and stuff. So they're writing all of this stuff that coheres to all the other fields, also in an old Earth perspective. But they don't believe it, and they don't believe that what they're writing is true, which means they're outright lying for the sake of protection of their reputations in their respective fields, while then going out and presenting a completely different scientific perspective to the general masses supporting a young Earth narrative. One person, which I would focus on probably tonight as kind of the peak of my focus, would be someone who's very, very well known and very prolific in the young Earth sphere, and that would be Dr. Andrew Snelling. So this is my premise. They are necessarily, by their position, blatant fucking liars, which challenges whether they really have any morality at all. And I think, as Brandon would agree, such prolific lies would be in violation of the contract. Trying to lie to protect their own reputation while they present a different perspective, which I don't think would be able to be, then maybe Brandon will attempt to do so, but I don't think it can be morally defended.
Can I ask real one, just so I can get
go ahead.
Just so I can,
I'm pretty much
just so I can get clarity on your position.
Go
ahead. So are you trying to say that basically, like, young Earth cosmology, like, requires us to discount all the evidence? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Well, no, not quite. Because generally what it is, it's its own interpretation or misinterpretation of certain facts. Like, for instance, philosophy of science is its own field. Scientists will collect data. They'll collect information and observations. It's in the realm of scientific philosophy where you get into the interpretation of what that data and information means. So, and I think there can be flaws. There can be very, very skilled scientists who are very good at collecting the information at the data points and are very thorough and very organized, but might be absolute shit at logic. And I think that could be the case on either side. So really at the end of the day, I don't think many times there's tons of disagreement about the data itself, but what the data means. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely. As far
Okay,
as the interpretation of the data
beautiful.
is definitely going to be interpreted differently based upon your worldview. So
Correct.
if you have the
You will
worldview,
carry
yeah, if
with
you,
you bias and presuppositions, which may incline you to adopt one explanation of a thing over another.
which I
That's
think
fine.
that to me, that's exactly what old earthers are doing. Is you have a misinterpretation of the data because now you're because you've now
Well, I don't
denied
want this
the
to be too much of a
authority.
back and forth because we have an
Yeah.
evolving kind of set here to go through. So I do want to give you the
All
chance
right.
to just say whatever you want to basically what is my argument that they are prolifically lying at some point in their career. They're either lying to the young earthers and all their old earth science and papers and publications and peer reviewed articles are true, or they've been lying to the rest of the scientific community to keep their up. Either way, they're a fucking liar.
Well,
And I think
well,
that's the
hold
point.
on a minute, because
So
that I mean, if we want to be honest, though, okay, Dr. Russell Humphreys, he correctly predicted what the gravitational field of Saturn would be before the whatever satellite it was, Voyager or whatever, that got out there. And they all had to submit their peer reviewed work and all of that stuff. And Dr. Russell Humphreys, who wrote Starlight and Time, he got it correct. He based it off of a young Earth model, and he was absolutely correct. And again, Dr. Jason Lyle, he went public before they even launched the Webb telescope and said, no, you're going to see fully formed galaxies. No matter how deep we look into space, they'll all be fully formed based off of course, the young Earth creation model. And he was correct. So the entire scientific community had to
So yeah, I
shift
don't know if
their,
I
yeah.
don't know if you're even really re-quoting that correctly, Brandon.
I
What
promise you, Dr. Danny Faulkner. There's a video where even Dr. Danny Faulkner's going, "Man, I wish I would have went public with it too. I should have. I had the same model. I
I don't
should have
want
went
to
public with
I
it
don't
too."
want to get into
Yeah,
too many of those fact checking components of the I'm not sure how much of what you said is true, but I also don't want to argue it. So what I do want to do is just move on to if you're done with your opening statement, I like to move on to the next portion.
sure.
Okay. All right. So this is an article I went ahead and posted in the side chat. If anyone wants to go up and read it, it is something from Reddit, but it did say something interesting. And I do want to pull this up, and this is in regards particularly to Andrew Snelling. And this is Andrew Snelling, I guess you would say, kind of boasting of a new study on the Grand Canyon, and this is
Oh,
essentially
he's the geologist guy. I know who you're talking about
right,
now.
right,
Yeah,
right, right. He's a geologist,
yeah, I
right?
like him.
I'm sure you do. He's a young Earth. He's a young Earth. Well, I mean, he's sometimes young Earth. He's sometimes old Earth. It depends who he's writing for. But nonetheless, this is something that is talking about his quote unquote peer review for Answers Research Journal, and certainly this can be fact checked if there's any doubt in this. But anyway, it says this article is tiring. It makes a point to mention that Snelling is a scientist with the highest credentials twice and calls him doctor no less than 25 times. It doesn't hesitate to remind us over and over again how stunning and groundbreaking Snelling's research is. No self-respecting professional acts like this. It also refers to Answers Research Journal as a peer-reviewed journal. ARJ has a document on their website explaining their peer review process. It tells us that papers submitted are reviewed by one singular editor who is assigned by the editor-in-chief, and that final say on a paper's publishing status belongs to the editor-in-chief. This is ironic because Snelling himself is the editor-in-chief of Answers Research Journal. Not only does this mean that he edited and approved his own paper, then called it peer-reviewed, it also reveals a fundamental conflict of interest at the core of this paper. Snelling is not concerned about the process of peer review. He apparently only cares about having those words stamped on his work. In the introduction to his paper, Snelling describes the sandstone he is studying as, and it's a colon, and this is the quote, dominated by quartz, but with significant amounts of K feldspar and detrital muscovite eroded from the underlying Precambrian basement rocks. Snelling goes on to explain that those Precambrian basement rocks were catastrophically eroded by the flood. But these two statements are contradictory. How exactly do flood waters wash sediment away, then bring it back a few days later so it can be included in new rock layers? If it was brought back by some kind of unnatural current reversal, why was no sediment from other eroded formations mixed in? This is strong evidence that these rocks were formed by a local process. In another paper that Snelling approved for publication in his role as editor-in-chief, Humphreys describes the catastrophic erosion of these rocks as a sheet of water and sediment that washed across the whole continent. This simply doesn't track with the observational evidence of sediment inclusions in the higher rock layers. But these contradictions are secondary to Snelling's main point. Snelling explains, and he quotes, there are several prominent locations in the Grand Canyon where the Paleozoic sedimentary rock layers are folded, sometimes in conjunction with faulting. It's nice that Snelling admits folded rock layers can sometimes be found faulted. Considering his history of lying because he doesn't like the truth, here's that picture of him setting up students in front of faults in a move that is honestly disgusting. Imagine how you would feel if you were one of those students being used like that. I can actually pull up the picture if you guys want to see kind of the creative attempts to.
I mean, I don't know
Hold
enough
on.
about, I don't know enough
Go.
about Andrew Snelling, but I mean, Smokey.
Well, no, it's okay.
mean,
And that's okay. I'm not expecting you to like pitch some big, defense of the man. I mean, especially if you're not familiar with him. This is me exposing him. And by the way, if you don't really have anything to defend
I've
it,
seen him in, I've seen him in documentaries and stuff.
so
Yeah.
So there's kind of these, I guess, where he's got these students at right here, up over here. I wonder why this photo's so. Oh, probably blurred it because of the kids. They don't want their faces in it or something. Probably find it otherwhere. But anyway, so yeah, he's got the kids basically, sitting at these particular points over here in this picture, and here's the folded layer, which he claims, well, it's folded. There's no fractures, which would mean it would have to have been laid down really, really quickly. Otherwise, if it folded after the fact, there would be cracks and fissures and stuff like that. And then you go to this area and you can see where there seems to be cracks and fissures. Like here's a big gouge going right here. And here's this giant gouge over here in this primary layer just beneath where she was sitting. So that's a huge thing right there. So it almost looks like creative attempts to kind of hide these particular big, like glaring examples that there's some clear, like fissures and cracks in these sedimentary layers, that are supposedly bending and bowing. Because here's the bowing right there. And then you have
said
the
it was made out of, you said it was made out of what kind of rock? You said the type of rock that it was. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and that shit's very brittle. Kevlar. Is it Kevlar? Is that what you said? Or
there are several prominent locations in the Grand Canyon where the Paleozoic sedimentary rock layers are folded, sometimes in conjunction with faulting. I don't see.
Kepler or something like
Rock.
that.
I don't see that word here. I don't think. I mean, it might be. I'm not saying it isn't. I just don't see it here in this
You
particular.
said it when you were
Did I?
reading. Yep.
What does it say? Dominated by courts with dominated by courts with significant amounts of K feldspar and
Feldspar. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I did that's what brought me to Arizona was a gold mining project thing. So, and anyhow, so I learned quite a bit about geology and a lot about chemistry and all of that kind of shit. And Kepler or feldspar, sorry, is this, it has a lot of like shiny little bits of pieces of what's that shiny shit, dude? Oh man, my brain's not working. But anyhow, it's a very brittle rock. Like if you hit it with a hammer, you say a big 2 foot, size rock, you could break that apart with a normal hammer. You know what I mean? With a few good whacks. It's a very brittle rock, sedimentary rock. So, anyways, yeah, these cracks and stuff over time, yeah, you're gonna get cracks like that. So I don't think anybody's trying to be dishonest in any way. And I mean,
Oh no,
this
well,
is
he's definitely blatantly dishonest, like one way or the other. I mean, there's no way to hide that. Like he's definitely blatantly dishonest. But the issue, and again, the issue is this, and this is the only thing I think you can probably answer to, Brandon, because it's so blatant. What a liar he is. I don't think you'll be doing yourself any favors of credibility trying to deny otherwise. But I will tell you this: you can answer the query as to whether or not this compromises the argument that young Earth creationism is valid. I think
so
that
that
would
kind
be a
of
better argument for you to tackle.
okay. So, but now it kind of it sounds like you're already assuming for me that Andrew Snelling was lying.
Oh,
And
you're going to say he isn't?
what
You're going to say
about
he isn't blatantly lying?
about the cracks that you were
Well,
talking
about the
about in that
cracks,
picture?
about his contradictions in his statements and his papers, about him filing, old Earth research peer-reviewed papers and then young Earth papers, and claiming himself to be, to claiming them to be
I
peer-reviewed.
don't.
When he's
Yeah,
really, hold on,
if
wait a
he
minute.
did that,
Hold
yeah,
on, stop. Did you hear what I said? Where he's claiming to be peer-reviewed, but really he's the only one peer reviewing himself.
yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a problem.
Okay, well that's a lie. That's saying you're doing something and you're not. That's not what you're doing. That's a blatant fucking lie. So you're going to say he's not lying?
Well, if
You're going to
that's
say
the
he's not
case,
lying
then
even to
yeah.
that?
Well, I don't know the facts of the case just yet, but
Okay, if that's
on
true,
what
would
you're
that be
telling, yes,
lying?
that would be lying. Yes,
And that would be immoral. That would be bad.
correct.
And if he files a paper, any peer reviewed paper that has old Earth perspectives and old Earth science and old Earth claims, he would be lying about those things that he's publishing, right?
Well, I don't know what you mean by old Earth
If
claims
he's
and older.
doing
Hold on.
a scientific paper and he's using old Earth science and citations
What do you
to
mean
draw his
old Earth
conclusions and
science,
publish it
though?
for peer review,
Real quick,
okay,
though, what
is he
is there a
lying?
difference? Is there a difference between young Earth science and old Earth science?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How?
The chasm
What is
between the chasm
I
between
can't even
young
believe
Earth
you have
and
to ask that question.
yeah, the
Well, I'm
chasm
saying,
between
You have
do
to
they use a
ignore whole
different?
slews of evidence and then reinterpret the rest, might I add, poorly.
But do
So,
they use a
may I
different
say-
we're dealing with
scientific
two
method?
completely different scientific paradigms, 100%.
A different scientific
You have a
method, though,
completely
or
different scientific philosophy than the rest of the scientific world.
well, we have
Actually,
different
objectively.
worldviews. Yeah, we would have
Fringe
different
and unique.
worldviews, which could cause different interpretations. That's what we just. I thought we just
I will
established
be
that.
right back. Gentlemen, can you
Yeah.
please engage on my behalf for about 5 minutes? I will be right back. I need a beverage.
Sure. So, anyways, that's I don't
No,
know the
I was going to
difference.
simply state that the chasm between young Earth and old Earth science is very, very great, to the point where many young Earthers, probably like Brandon, condemn old Earthers as either heretical or in some cases not Christians.
Well, it's still the problem is you're denying the authority of Scripture. I think that is a dangerous position.
I know
I'm
you.
not trying to accuse people. I'm trying to warn people that this is,
Okay, well,
why would you gamble with this? You know what I mean? We're
what I
talking
want to
about
know is
eternity
that
here.
if these people are undermining the authority of the Bible, as you claim, does that mean that they are non-Christians because they are not your particular brand of young earth creationists?
I don't know who, I can't see into anyone's heart. So I can't say who's going and who ain't. Alls I can say is, in my opinion, that is not a smart bet. It's not a
Well,
wise wager. It's
Brandon,
not.
you
It's not.
just said,
You need to do a little risk assessment on this. Such is this worth it? Because if you're going to attack Genesis, the very foundation of the Bible, if Genesis is not true, then the whole thing falls apart.
right. Well, Brendan, the entailment of what you're saying is it sounds awfully like I don't want to say they're not Christians, but basically taking the really long road to say it, I don't necessarily think that they are, but don't want to
Well,
claim
what's
that.
if you don't have faith in God's word, then what do you have faith in? Just some guy named Jesus?
Well, then there you
Are
go.
we talking
In
about
order,
Jesus Garcia? Are we talking about the Mormon Jesus? Which Jesus is going to be able to save me here?
well, again, the old earth and the creationist and the theistic evolutionist would be Orthodox Trinitarians. You are not. But on that point, they
I'm
would not
I
depart.
Are you saying I'm not a Trinitarian?
I said you're not an Orthodox one. You are a Docetist,
Well,
sir.
what do you mean by orthodox with one?
You do not confirm or comport to the Chalcedonian definition of Trinitarian theology, which is to say, when you say that Christ's flesh was the same flesh that Mary had, which was serpent seed, demon baby flesh, you have now entered into the heresy known as Docetism.
Okay, well, whatever scholar put that label on it, fine. But what
No,
I'm
it was
pointing
not a
out,
scholar. This
if
was actually ruled
how
on by the Council of the Church.
explain to me, please, then, how exactly was Jesus tempted in all points, like any other human, if he didn't have to go sinless in this sin-filled flesh? And
Well,
why did King David say he was sin from his conception? In the womb, he was literally sin incarnate, according to King David. This is what King David said. So, I mean,
right.
you're
So
going to
just
have to
a brief,
explain to me.
I know you don't know what docetism means, but you're also not going to ask that. So just to define the term, it is a heretical teaching about the person of Christ, which holds that Christ, the divine word, only seemed to assume the flesh of Jesus. The term is from the Greek dokion, to seem. Jesus' life, suffering, and death and bodily resurrection were considered unreal, and thus it undermines belief in the reality of the incarnation. Enlarge this text as a doctrine of the Christian
What?
faith. The roots of Docetism lie in the persuasive Greek understanding of matter as evil and of God as incapable of suffering or impassive. As early as the mid-second century, Justin Martyr identified, quote, some who declare that Jesus Christ did not come in flesh, but only as a spirit. Seraphon of Antioch first called such teachers Docetists about 200 AD. Other opponents of Docetism included Polycarp, Irenaeus, and Tertullian. Docetism was contradicted by the Council of Chalcedon in 451. Any extreme emphasis on the divinity of Jesus at the expense of his humanity has docetic implications. Docetism continues to be a temptation to those who idealize the figure of Jesus. It was found in Gnosticism, and it has reappeared from time to time in the history of the church.
So stop
This
1
is from
second, really quick. Yeah,
wait just
really
a
quick.
moment.
What you just read.
Can you let me give
Man,
the source?
fuck, dude. You'll
mad
go
as hell.
forever. We'll sit here for 10 minutes to
Good
listen to your
Lord.
shit.
Can you
No
calm
one else
down?
can
I'm
participate.
done.
Can
Good
you
Lord,
calm
calm
down and
down.
let someone else ask a question based on
You've
what you just
interrupted
read?
me. You've
Okay, but based
interrupted
on
me,
what you
Brandon, as
just
I'm
read,
trying to give the source that I'm quoting.
Okay, but what you just quoted is describing Docetism or whatever as that either you believe that
Gnosticism.
Jesus, okay, that Jesus came in actual flesh or spirit. It doesn't have anything to
No,
do with the serpent seed.
I
Everything you,
reiterate from the Episcopalchurch.org's an Episcopal Dictionary of the Christian Church. A heretical teaching, Docetism is defined to be, about the person of Christ, which holds that Christ, the divine word, only seemed to assume the flesh of Jesus. When you say that the flesh Jesus inherits, or incarnates in, I should say, is tainted by the serpent seed, you are now treading into Docetism and Gnosticism.
not even close to what the definition you just read. What I'm saying is, all through humanity,
Oh, yeah, that's
every
right.
single human being has this, serpent seed problem. We have this nature for sin. Where did that come from? God didn't create it. This is why I'm saying if Jesus was tempted in all points, that means that there was sin in his flesh. How much more obvious can that be?
Well, you've not only managed to pervert. Who's talking? Sorry.
Bro.
No, I just said I'm tired.
Well, hey there, bro. You've not only managed to pervert the doctrine of original sin, you've now managed to pervert the flesh of Christ. I'm honestly at this point, I'm just
according to you, and you just fucking read a whole definition that had nothing to do with the point at hand.
Yes,
unbelievable.
Brandon, do you have you read anything about the Chalcedonian Council, the Council of Chalcedon, and why the council met together?
By the way, my viewpoint is this, Brandon. If you were wondering, I look at New Earth the same way I look at flat Earth, without scientific proof.
It's a touch hard to hear you with that mic, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, I said I look upon New Earth as I do flat Earth, without scientific proof.
I mean, Smokey used to say on this channel back in the day, and he actually did a whole stream on it. I was on at least one of them, where he essentially highlighted that young earthers should be flat Earth, but strangely, none of them are. The only people who were proposing the idea of young Earth after, say, about the 17 or 1800s were the flat earthers.
But I mean, do you realize how? Yeah, do you realize though that how ridiculous from a someone that submits to the authority of Scripture, from someone from our point of view, you look fucking ridiculous trying to claim that the Bible is totally inaccurate. And that all of these scientists,
I never said that the Bible is
you have no idea what Fro believes regarding Genesis.
You have no idea. Yeah, I have never said anything about that. If
you want to make a dumbass comment like you look at young Earth creation the same as flat Earth, then you're fucking being absurd. So, because
Brandon, how much do you know about flat Earthism?
Plenty. What do you mean? As far as I've listened to all of the flat Earth fucking ridiculous arguments.
Are you aware that almost all of them embrace a young Earth model?
But but they have a huge flaw when they drift into flat Earth. That doesn't have any. Again, Ryan. Again, that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China.
The point
every
is,
time
Brandon,
you do this,
you have the listening.
You bring up points that have absolutely nothing to do with the previous point.
You have the listening skills of an anvil. I said
you have the fucking attention of a fucking fish.
That seems to be your problem, not mine. The flat Earth model.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? You're fucking ridiculous.
Can you
Grow
stop
up,
for a
dude.
second? Can you have the maturity that a 50-year-old man's supposed to have?
Oh, please. Ain't that the fucking pot calling the kettle black?
I'll hold. You know what, Brandon? Tell you what. I'll let you talk. You let me know when I can respond.
Okay, well, you need to
Brandon
get your
Irish
head
is
out of
one
your
of those
ass.
people that can't hear arguments against him. He gets flustered by arguments against himself.
No, I know,
Nobody ever
Brandon,
gets a
Brandon,
chance to
Fro.
speak. It's pathetic. You
The
guys are
point is
so
simple. The point is that the
pathetic.
only people in recent history who've articulated young Earth, until you start to see this young Earth creationist movement formulating in the last century, are flat earthers and cultists.
That is ridiculous. You're so fucking man. You never spit facts correctly, Ryan. If somebody
I just cited
needs to
to you the
spit,
definition of
yeah, someone
Docetism,
needs,
which you just rejected.
and you were
because you
wrong.
described it
That
and
was
don't know.
ridiculous.
Brandon, you don't
ridiculous.
know what Docetism is.
No,
you don't know
you
why
obviously
the council met.
okay, but you can't even acknowledge how much different what you just defined is from the serpent seed theory.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about your particular expression of it, Brandon. And the reason why
You're
I
a
say this is,
fucking
Brandon,
moron.
you've never read.
Oh, man.
Go grab Chat GPT
It's
and type
fucking
in council.
painful.
Go type into Chat GPT, your God and your Savior, Council of Chalcedon.
And you turn, dude, you're such a fucking hypocritical clown. And you're gonna try to discredit me when you use whatever. What AI do you use? What AI do you use?
Brandon, you discredit
No, Ryan,
yourself.
no. You try to misrepresent me, and in your imagination, somehow I've discredited myself.
In the
You're
last
fucking,
day or so,
you are
Brandon,
delusional, man.
No,
you are
in the
fucking
last day or
delusional.
so on my channel, I posted the recording of our conversation. And in that conversation, I steel manned your position.
Every
while
one
asking
of
you
your
to
videos
define
are
what it is.
delusional. Brian, you
Well,
seriously,
Brandon,
dude,
if I am
you have
delusional, then
mental
you're also
issues.
delusional.
You genuinely
video?
have mental problems, Ryan.
If I am delusional,
I mean that as a concerned, normal human being, one human being to another. You have seriously mental issues. Yeah, you can't even hold a conversation like a normal fucking human being. You have to attempt to talk over me at every moment. Yes, you do.
Our conversation on the news.
I heard you for the 10th time.
I recorded the conversation, Brandon, because I wanted a reference point. Now, the reason I did that is so you can't scream, "You're misrepresenting me." No, I'm not. You directly stated your position. I defined the term and you rejected. One, because you don't know what Docetism is. Two, you don't know what Chalcedonian Council was about or why it met. Three, you just hate me, and you've admitted this on multiple occasions. But it doesn't matter if I tell you.
You're full of shit. You're incapable of even being just genuine. You're so dishonest. It's really concerning. I'm not even kidding.
Brandon, Ryan is one of the most genuine people I know.
No, he is. This guy is so full of shit.
Holy
and lies
fuck,
all
Brandon!
The time.
Stop lying.
Yeah, no, stop lying, bro. You even got on. Fro even got on here and admitted to everybody about his problem with lying.
This is
so let's be real.
Does because he can't accept accountability.
You know what Ryan does is he fucking constantly talks out of his side of his neck about shit that he's so inaccurate on every
and you
time.
Don't? You talk out of your neck all the fucking time.
I hope that
you
you're happy
talk out of the side of your neck all the time, bro. See how easy it is to just say that?
Silence.
You know what I mean? You put carrots in your bumhole all the time, bro.
Okay, I have never had a carrot up my bumhole any time.
No, you put carrots up your bumhole all the time.
Do you have proof
Don't
of that?
lie. Don't lie. You put carrots up your butthole all the time. Do you see how easy it is to just make a claim?
You have proof of that.
Bro, have you noticed that these
I would
really
never
crazy
even want
fringe
proof
people
of that.
have these weird? Have you noticed, bro, how these crazy, weird fringe people seem to always gravitate toward that subject. It's really
All right,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
it's always about
Gentlemen,
sex.
Weird fringe
hold
people
on,
like
real
you,
quick.
Ryan.
Guys,
You are the weird
guys.
fringe person that you speak of, moron.
Guys,
No one projects like Ryan. Nobody. I've never seen anything like it.
Says the man that accuses me of putting carrots up my ass.
I was making an example of how anybody can make an accusation. See how easy it is to just make some stupid ass claim of out of nowhere.
Okay.
But it isn't out of nowhere. I have proof that you took out of your neck.
Creepy.
Okay, where's the proof? Proof. Yeah, what time did I talk out of my neck?
Oh
Well,
my God, you retard!
Do you want one? Do you want
you dummy?
Well, that we did have the prima nocta situation. I don't want to relitigate all this. Here's the thing. All right. I want to give everyone about 60 seconds each to finish whatever the fuck they want to say.
No,
on this
I'm
topic.
done. I mean, he accuses me of putting carrots up my ass. I just don't appreciate that.
Okay.
Christ.
Froze said his piece. All right, Ryan, 60 seconds or less. Please just wrap it up.
Brandon can't understand normal English.
I'm sorry, I'm back. I stepped away to get a cup of coffee. What's up?
60 seconds or less. Wrap up the final points on this particular topic. I want to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, Brandon, 60 seconds or less. Say whatever you want to say. Kind of lead up for whatever was being said previously.
Yeah, we need to start, kind of defining our terms here, because this is where, Smokey and I already established that obviously if you have different worldviews, you're going to have different interpretations of the data. So we need to clarify where the fuck this distinction is. Is there a different scientific method for young Earth people versus old Earth people? Because there's no difference on how they, calculate and do math and shit. So, I mean, all that's the same. So I'm confused on how young Earther science is different from old Earther science.
I have a genuine question. How do you explain how one of the oldest trees being sawed into and it being more rings than your young Earth? How do you explain that?
Well, how do you explain that the oldest tree that they found on the Earth, they estimate is 6,000 years old?
That's not true.
No, there's trees older than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are plenty of trees that are much, much older than 6,000.
Older than that. What the fuck are you talking about?
If you're claiming that each ring, when you cut a tree and you look at the stump and count all of the rings, that does not that each one of those rings is not 1 year at all. That's been totally debunked, the whole idea that each ring is a year of that tree's life. So if that's your claim, you need to go back and research that, because that is false. That is not. You can get
so you don't have a problem when people are pointing out like fucking dinosaur bones that are millions of years old.
There is absolutely zero evidence that they're millions of years old. There's tons of proof, like the Ica stones, for example. There's they've found human footprints.
I'm sorry, I'm going to trust scientists before you, Brandon. I'm very
these
sorry.
Are scientists. Yeah, these are scientists that have all these. This is everything I'm talking about is peer-reviewed information.
Okay, so do you believe that dinosaurs and humans lived at the same time?
Yes, the Bible talks about dragons.
Okay,
they changed the word to dinosaur. The word dragon just means giant lizard. That's literally what dragon means.
I wanted to add to
Trash
Fro's
Clown
point.
Show.
I wanted to add to Fro's point if I could. Fro, do you see the word I put in the private chat? Can you tell me how to pronounce that?
Chico.
Chico. Okay. Old Chico in Sweden is a tree or a tree network that is 9,550 years old. It's a Norwegian spruce. I figured Fro would appreciate that. And actually, Brandon, in your backyard is the Pando system. It's a quaking aspen. It is estimated to be 80,000 years old or more.
Well, I'm just telling you, according to Answers in Genesis scientists and all of that, we
Oh,
have a
Answers in
different.
Genesis.
We have a difference in the interpretation of the data.
Oh,
If you have an
Answers
older,
in
well,
Genesis.
this is the issue, though. Why would
Answers in
you laugh?
Genesis.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
The most quack website on earth.
Whatever.
Yeah,
dude,
I mean,
you're a
Fro,
fucking.
he doesn't realize that
just-
running to
You
people
can
like
just say
AIG
whatever.
is not
You guys are so fucking disingenuous.
Ah, you can say whatever.
you don't-
Yeah,
you-
we have.
You don't
proof.
even care about truth at all. This is
I
ridiculous.
care about truth.
You don't, obviously.
I care.
So okay, who's the head dude of Answers in Genesis? Who runs the show over there?
I-
'Cause
I
You know
could
so
not
much
give
about 'em.
two
Yeah.
single shits
Okay,
about
so
that.
again, you're talking out of your side of your fucking
Nope.
neck.
Brandon,
Again.
you don't
I
have to
said I
know who
didn't
runs
care about
AIG
it.
to interact
I
with the
know,
claims.
but have you even investigated the website or any of
Yes.
their claims or
Yes.
any of
Yes.
all of the scientists involved?
Yes, I
there?
have looked at
Okay,
Answers
then-
at Genesis
okay,
and looked at
then-
it. Yes.
Okay, then who is the head dude? He's super
I
famous.
haven't looked at exactly that, but I have looked at the website. You asked me about the website, right?
Well, all right, you put carrots up your bum hole. Just
Okay.
admit it.
Hey, go and play a little more Kino, won't you?
Sure.
Yeah. Or trust your
Yep.
AI.
Who is somebody like standing in a wind tunnel or what?
Now I have my fan on.
Oh, then it's Fro. It's not me.
Yeah, it's shit cold, so I turned my fan on.
The Dapper Dinosaur. What is that?
So this is something I wanted to bring up. We're not going to go through this whole thing, but Dapper collected a whole bunch of crap about Andrew Snelling. This is kind of an Andrew Snelling show. I probably should have tagged him in the description. I'll do that later. But anyway, Andrew Snelling is just someone I just chose in a particular sense because there's a lot of blatant problems with him. And the thing is that when you have someone who's being so blatantly dishonest to so much of the
Oh,
population.
you mean like
one way-
Brandon?
Hold on.
You
Because
mean
you
like
have someone-
Fro?
Fuck's sakes, let me fucking finish. You can save your jabs for after I'm done. So the issue is that Andrew Snelling is lying somewhere, somehow to someone. It's just blatant because there's just apparent contradictions. His work in the sciences with old Earth interpretations and other old Earth scientists citing his work with old Earth perspectives and old time, deep time interpretations of geology and stuff like that. And he's doing this work and it's out there and he's publishing it. And he's clearly lying because he doesn't believe that. So he's just telling blatant lies to the entire scientific world just to get his work, past the peer review process. This is blatant dishonesty. It just is. And this is the problem with the Young Earth camp, in my perspective, is that you are having to rely upon the honesty of the conclusions of blatant fucking liars.
Yeah.
That's my concern. My concern is the things I see, which I've even confronted standing for truth before on multiple times, is how he'll have one scientist on that'll say one thing and give one interpretation, and another scientist on that'll come and give an entirely different interpretation. And Donnie will just nod his head like they're both right. And they can't both be right. One of them's got to be wrong. One's got it better than the other. But Donnie won't stir the waters. Donnie won't make any waves. Donnie won't try and get them to reconcile or figure out which argument is best. He'll just nod his head, to the expert he invited in
At
the room.
both, yeah.
And not be honest enough about confronting the fact that now there's a contradiction or
Donnie's trying to get his
difference in
viewers up
opinion.
is why.
What?
I said Donnie's all about getting his viewership up. That's
Well,
why.
Donnie's channel's Young Earth content is outrageously unpopular. For considering the fact that he has 30,000 subs, his Young Earth content viewership is absolutely abysmal. His only real content that he gets any views at is when he hosts debates. In fact, his channel wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for him hosting debates and managing to get some pretty big names on it too. So,
yeah. Well, no,
Um,
I mean, that's, I had a couple of comments for him when he had Lee Strobel on there, and he was like, ooh, I could tell by the look on his face he read my comment and was like, yeah, I'm not asking that.
anyway, so I just want to start going through some of this. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but just let's get a taste of a few arguments and points and stuff like that to kind of seal home my perspective. Then we can discuss what type of flavor or effect or problem this creates for the young earth camp, if any at all. And Brandon's here to contend for the earth. If there's any other young earthers out there, please by all means click on the link, come in, and you can be backup. We'll give equal time if it's requested. So we'll just watch a little bit of this and see what kind of pops up and what type of conversation it might inspire. All right.
Hi there, YouTube. The Dapper Dinosaur here. Yet again, with some fresh creationist nonsense. Or rather, like, year-old creationist nonsense. But then again, it's not like they update their talking points more than once every few decades, no matter how wrong they are. So I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. Anyway, we're going to take a look at a talk given by Andrew Stelling at the Creation Museum. Before that, I want to ask all of you to please like this video and subscribe to this channel. YouTube is a very fickle thing, and the only way for this channel to grow is if viewers like you help it. Anyway, here's Ken Ham saying stuff before he lets Snelling get on with it.
Thanks for joining us in Legacy Hall to hear from my longtime colleague and friend, Dr. Andrew Snelling. As you'll be able to tell from his lack of an American accent, Dr. Snelling comes from down under, just like me. He's a geologist and research scientist with a PhD in geology from the University of Sydney in Australia.
He is, and the funny thing about that is that he's a geologist who publishes completely ordinary science in peer-reviewed venues, where he doesn't espouse any kind of young earth creationist stuff. Then he turns around and contradicts himself in creationist venues. He also just blatantly lies about rocks for creationists, so congrats on getting a PhD geologist, Ken. But I guess we know which of the three among honest, well-informed, and creationist you went with. This time it's well-informed, creationist, but not honest. Because remember, you can't be all three.
He's worked in exploration and mining industries all across Australia before starting in full-time creation ministry and research. Dr. Snelling now serves as director for the Answers in Genesis Research Department. He's also a popular speaker and author. You can find his resources, including his monumental work, Earth's Catastrophic Past, in our bookstore.
Lying to the willingly ignorant is a lot easier than actually producing results useful to the mining industry, which, has to actually hit deposits and can't rely on fantastical nonsense, like Ken Ham's ministry can.
At this time, please silence all cell phones and note that emergency exits are located up front, to your right and left, and along the left side of the room.
This is YouTube. Keep your cell phones on if you want. But also, thanks for telling me where to go if I need to run screaming from this video, Ken.
Hey, Suno, I know one
Now,
or two
let's
things
give our
about
full
Suno.
attention and a warm welcome to my Aussie friend, Dr. Andrew Snelling.
Well, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. As Ken said, we've known one another for quite a long time. I first met Ken 40 years ago, and we've worked together for coming on 35 years now. What I want to talk about this afternoon is fossils and rock layers, the flood, not evolution, and millions of years.
I'll give Answers in Genesis props for this much. At least they actually have a PhD in geology giving their geology talk, instead of like a PhD in genetics like Georgia Purdom, or a PhD in astrophysics like Jason Lyle. Often they have people completely outside of their own field. That being said, at least then I can pretend that the speakers are simply ill-informed rather than dishonest. I won't have that luxury here.
Now, we get presented in the museums and in textbooks this diagram that you can see on the screen. And many people are confused. Does that represent reality? Do we find rock layers stacked up like that? Do we find the fossils in that particular order? What about the labels on those rock layers? Are they for real? Can we trust what we see in the textbooks and in the museums? What is fact and what is fiction?
As a rule of thumb, you can generally be pretty confident that if there is a broad scientific consensus on a particular topic, that consensus is at least mostly correct.
And so I want to answer, to begin with, these questions. Is the rock and fossil sequence real, or is it simply contrived to make it support evolution and millions of years?
So the evidence for the age of various rock layers, their general sequence, and even the fossils found in them, in no way depend on evolution. In fact, before evolution was even proposed, geologists were working this out. And while they could only give vague estimates of the age of the Earth based on how long it would take to simply deposit the rocks that are extant, they still knew that an age of only some 10,000 years or so was completely out of the question as being far, far too young. The fact that evolutionary theory and geology are concordant isn't a conspiracy. It's a result of our models of geology and our models of biology being largely correct.
Does it show evolution in the development of life through this so-called geologic column?
Yes, although not with nearly as much detail as we'd like, but far more than we could expect.
And does it date the rocks as millions of years old according to the geologic timescale?
No, the rocks and fossils per se do not date themselves. People have to do that. And when they do, we know for a fact that the Earth is not thousands of years old, it's billions of years old. And that much of the rock is hundreds of thousands or more years old.
Many of you will be familiar with those terms and those terminology. You see these diagrams in museums and textbooks that life has supposedly developed from the first chemicals that produced the first cell that diverged through time over millions of years, branching into all different organisms that we see today.
Well, the fossils do help us with some of that, but the evidence connecting plants and animals is primarily molecular, not fossil. However, within plants and animals, we do in fact have a lot of wonderful transitional forms linking major groups of organisms within those kingdoms.
And you see this diagram and references to the Paleozoic and the Permian and the Carboniferous and all these names that are supposed to represent a geological timescale representing millions of years for the development of life on Earth. So these are the issues we want to come face with this afternoon. I'm going to shock you by first of all telling you that the rock layers are real.
I mean, good. You can literally just go walk outside in many areas of the world and have a look at them. So at least Snelling has that right.
Now, the other interesting thing is that the local rock sequences, so for example, you can drive all around Cincinnati and you can see that there's some variations where you go up and down, that there is a sequence of rock layers in this area. Well, they generally follow, the local rock sequences generally follow the order that's depicted in the geologic column.
Yep, because shockingly, the geological column wasn't described as part of a conspiracy to get everyone to stop believing in God. It was just the result of looking at the data and going where they lead.
And so the layers here in Cincinnati, you can compare with layers in other parts of the world, exactly the same section of the geologic column it seems to fit. In fact, the local rock sequences can be connected together across regions and continents in much the same order as the geologic column.
Yep, that's one of the reasons we know about ancient supercontinents.
So, for example, we can go northeast from here up to Cedar Creek State Park and look at the rock layers that are slightly higher in the sequence. You know, we can trace those all the way to Niagara Falls.
So far, Snelling is doing pretty well.
We can go south down the 75 and we go up the sequence as well, and we can trace those layers, and I'm going to give you some examples shortly. And the other interesting thing is the fossils contained in the rock sequences generally follow the order of the fossil record. Now, that might surprise you. Well, it shouldn't, because it's not fabricated when they do those diagrams.
Weird, right? Scientists aren't just lying to you and each other. But why do I feel like there's a but coming?
But
I knew it.
The caveat is, in those diagrams, they don't show you all the fossils that are found in the rock layers.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't fit detailed pictures of every paleotaxon found in any given sequence of rock. This is like supposed to be a poster or even a page in a textbook, not a mural spanning a whole room. I'm going to say that unless Dr. Snelling can manage to show every single fossil taxon known at the time of this recording in his presentation, then he's just being dishonest in this criticism. And the thing is, I don't really think that it's a criticism he's trying to make. I think he's just being sloppy. I suspect that what he's actually trying to say here is that there are some selected taxa that are typically excluded from such pictures because in his mind they show some kind of problem for the theory of evolution or the great age of the Earth. But if that's what's going on here, he should have said that.
They choose the ones that tell the supposed story of evolutionary development.
No, they pick the ones that are generally popular with their audience and that are stereotypical of the given rock system and therefore paleo environment.
If you take into account all the fossils that are found in each and every rock layer, they tell a different story. But we'll come to that in a moment.
Different than what? The scientific consensus? Because that consensus is built upon what is found in the rocks, as Snelling has already pointed out.
First of all, let's journey out to the southwestern United States, to the Grand Canyon area.
A place I've been to a few times, just a few months ago most recently, where I was joined by some fellow counter-creationists like R.J. Downard. I even got my copy of The Rocks Were There signed by him. Now to get Jackson...
All right, let's pause there. Let's pause there. Won't take up too much time with it. So, there's data. And
I'm
any
just
normative
curious.
situation.
Can I ask real quick though? Is this guy related to Ryan, or I mean, is this Ryan with AI that made this video? Because all I heard was a bunch of.
Dr. Dino is actually pretty famous in the scientific.
Oh, Dr. Dino.
Dapper
Oh,
Dino.
you're
Dapper,
not Dapper Dino. Not Dr. Dino.
Anyways,
Dapper Dino.
Yeah, this guy just sits here and critics. He doesn't have anything to back up any of his critiques. It's basically just sitting here, listen to somebody go, nuh-uh, nuh-uh.
Brandon, that is your mode of engaging. Don't project it onto others.
No, that's totally how you behave, right? The guy is not, this guy that made this video is not being honest or genuine in any way.
Well, how? How's he being dishonest?
Because he just makes these, he just sits there and goes, nuh-uh, no, he's incorrect with nothing to show as to why Snelling is incorrect or being, you know what I mean? He just sits there and goes,
No, we
nuh-uh.
don't know what you mean. You need to demonstrate why he is being dishonest.
Because every time that he says that, Snelling got something wrong or incorrect, the person saying he got it wrong and they're incorrect doesn't show how he got it wrong or incorrect. He just sits there and goes, nuh-uh, you're wrong, nuh-uh. That's not scholarship at all. You're just sitting here listening to somebody's opinion.
Well, Brandon,
who obviously hates God.
Hold on real quick. I think you either ignored or missed the opening thesis of the video, which
I've
is that
listened to the whole thing. I'm being just honest. If the critiquer guy that made this video was being genuine in any way,
you missed.
I would
Hold on.
be.
Let me just correct you because you did miss the opening premise. Andrew Snelling, all these points that Dapper is pointing out, which are basically the typical deep time interpretation of geology, are things that Andrew Snelling himself has confirmed in his peer-reviewed works. This is how he's pointing out that the things that Andrew Snelling confirms, which are the things that Dapper is putting forward, which are the standard, deep time perspectives of science, are things that Andrew Snelling in his, regular peer-reviewed works and stuff does support and promote. So really, you kind of missed the opening thesis where this general narrative.
If you look in the private chat, I asked the question. Yeah. I'm just telling you.
The general perspective of deep time science, it doesn't have to really be cited because Andrew Snelling is the citation. These are perspectives and views that Andrew Snelling himself has affirmed when he's writing to the secular scientific community. And now he's contradicting himself. Dapper Dino is pointing out that in the typical deep time interpretation, this is what the data shows. This is what is different from what Andrew Snelling is now quoting in front of a room of young earthers. You missed the whole opening thesis of this, of what this is showing is the contrariness of his works would be depending upon what his audience is. This shows a blatant deceptive spirit and a tendency.
So as an example, then maybe can you show me some proof that Snelling ever pitched the older model?
You want me to go get one of his peer-reviewed articles or track one? I mean, I don't have access usually to those type of academic.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you guys are going to make a slanderous claim against the guy's character,
So
then
what
he
you're going to say?
should be at
What,
least.
what you're going to claim? He's a PhD that never had a peer-reviewed paper or article.
You can't become a PhD without publishing peer-reviewed papers.
That's not what I'm saying. The guy in the video and you, Smokey, you and the guy in the video claim that Snelling kind of plays both sides of the fence.
He does.
Can you show me proof of that, please?
He has a PhD. There's your proof.
So you're telling me that everybody with a PhD has to adopt the old Earth model?
No. So everyone with a PhD has to write a peer-reviewed paper, article, thesis, summarization of the study. They all have to publish it, and it has to be peer-reviewed.
Right. When you write your doctrinal thesis, Brandon, no matter in what field you are acquiring the PhD.
I mean, I'll go get actual articles he's published if you want more than that. But I mean, your statement's just stupid. It is
very stupid.
Really,
when
it's so
when you earn a PhD, Brandon.
We know how this works, Ryan. My point is,
no, you don't know how
this works. Really? Then how the fuck did Dr. Russell Humphreys, Dr. Jason Lyle, all the guys at Answers in Genesis, like Dr. Danny Faulkner, how did all of these younger creationists get PhDs then? Because they're just all liars.
If they legitimately earned them, and I think Dr. Lyle did, then they had to do all of the research, go through the rigorous, arduous process of being a candidate, submit a thesis to be excruciatingly reviewed, and when they were determined to be of satisfactory muster, earned the PhD. You don't just mint out a PhD. Everything.
Let me help to like maybe break you out of your naivety.
This is incredible. He whines about being interrupted. You give him an answer to a question, then he interrupts.
And Ryan will talk for 10 minutes, give you 30 seconds to talk, and then interrupt you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Smokey, I yield to you.
I know you do, you fucking faggot. Anyway, the point is this, Smokey.
No love like Christian hate.
Oh, whatever. You can say whatever you want, dude. You're such a fucking fraud. That's why nobody likes you. You're such a fake fuck. Anyway, so yeah, you're telling me then that all of these young, there's a number of, I don't know if you've even ever seen Back to the Garden, which is a documentary produced by Answers in Genesis with a number of different PhDs. Why do all of these people with PhDs, all that believe that the Bible is telling the truth and all the data back is pointing to exactly what the Bible says, but you two guys are too stupid to see that an organization like the Catholic Church that wants to deny the authority of the Bible and have you pay for a pope is now in control of the entire education system, and now you got a bunch of fucking retards making videos like this fucking clown show you just showed that's going to sit there and make a bunch of blanket.
I finally understand it. I've not sufficiently slobbered all over Brandon's boots. That's why I don't get it.
Whatever entertains you, Ryan. You know what I mean? I'm about what's the truth. I don't want to delude myself. I think it's dangerous. The Bible even talks about our faith being tried and tested. So I would like to be prepared. That's why I'm not going to play around with delusion and fucking idiots that want to just sit here and make a bunch of blanket assertions against people's character and frame and misdirect narratives.
Well, that's what you've done.
And just hear whatever you want to hear instead of what someone's actually saying.
When we debated last year on the subject of the King James Version, Brandon, you maintained the position that the Anglican Church, my church, which gave us the English Bible all the way from the Wessex Gospel to the King James Version, is a Roman Catholic adjacent Babylonian whore church, and could not actually articulate
in modern times.
I really feel this way.
Yeah,
You-
see,
you
this
don't
is
have an
where,
empirical standard, dude.
see, this is how you try to fucking frame a false narrative every time. The subject that we were talking about, when you asked if the Anglican Church, the modern Anglican Church today, if they're apostate, and I said absolutely yes.
Yes,
And
and
I'm
that
talking
shows that
about,
you know nothing about Anglicanism.
if you look at the
because
historical
GAFCON
timeline, just listen for 1 second. If you look at the historical timeline, you see a separation when the word of God comes out and starts getting published and dispensed. All of a sudden, everybody starts getting away from the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
There's a
so-
splitting taking place. That's what
My
created
goodness.
the Anglican Church.
No, that's not what created the Anglican Church. You know
Oh,
nothing
come
about
on,
Anglicanism.
man.
So.
Okay,
I don't want to
know.
get on this subject, Smokey. I just maybe defer back to you.
Well,
So
But,
yeah,
why
let's
why
not
aren't
get too
Anglicans
off
called Catholics then, Ryan?
I don't know. Go ask the papacy why they reject all of our holy orders. They've done this since about the last 150 plus years.
That's because Anglicanism just divorced the Catholic Church, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
We were independent functionally from Rome as early as the 1200s. I don't think you understand what that means, though. But Smokey,
I know you
So
two
I'm
obviously
seeing that,
because you're so
Andrew
much more
Snelling-
intelligent than me, Ryan. I can tell. You're a joke.
I don't know if Brandon wants to challenge this factoid. If he does, I'll try to dig deeper and get the actual paper if I can. But I do have a Facebook post from December 13th, 2024 in a group called Evolution and Creationism Open Debate. And it does say that in Andrew Snelling's earlier works, particularly about his when he actually writes scientific papers about uranium exploration, which apparently is his specialty, he uses uranium lead radiometric dating to date deposits to millions of years. So apparently, if we look into his earlier works, probably what got him known in his field, particularly, I guess, in uranium searching, he does present his findings and conclusions with radiometric dating and dating them to millions of years and stating that to be a statement of scientific fact in his paper. If you don't believe that, I will try and dig deeper and see if I can get
do you really want me?
paper
Yeah.
or an excerpt.
Do you really want me to just parrot to you the young Earth creation argument?
No, actually, at
about
this
how-
point, I'd like you just to be honest and admit that Andrew Snelling is a fucking liar. That's all.
Yeah, I can't say he's a liar yet. All I hear is a bunch of
Wow.
assertions with no proof.
Wow.
Okay, we all know that
I realized
radiometric
something
dating
tonight,
is
Smokey.
fucking bullshit, right? Can we
Smokey,
all
I
agree
realized something
that
tonight.
can we agree that radiometric dating is bullshit? It doesn't
No.
work.
No.
No, of course
I've realized
not, yeah.
something, Smokey, in interacting with Brandon. Do you know those really cringy atheists that'll just be antagonistic no matter what you do or say because you're not an atheist?
You mean like you, Ryan? You are the most antagonistic person. That's why you're getting yourself in big trouble, dummy.
So here again, I'm talking to Smokey, not you. Shut your pie hole. Do you know what I've realized?
I'll
in
never
talking
do
to
anything
Brandon?
you tell me to do, you little faggot.
In talking to Brandon, I've realized that he's basically the religious equivalent of the cringe lord atheists.
And in talking to Ryan, I've noticed that he's like the most arrogant and pompous person for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And it's just outright annoying. There isn't anybody on YouTube that admires him for this behavior in any way, shape, or form. It's noted by everyone that you try to present yourself as some super intellectual when
I don't,
almost
Brandon.
everything you say comes off fucking retarded.
Brandon, you repetitively mentioned my intellect tonight. Is there a problem with my intellect? Because either you say I'm
No, it's
so
my
stupid
problem
that I
with
can barely
you
articulate
talking
myself,
down
and then you
to me.
say you act like, on one hand you articulate like I'm stupid and can barely tie my own shoes. On the other hand, you seem to almost compliment my intellect. It's kind of weird.
No, this show, this act that you're putting on as the super intellect isn't fooling anybody, is what I'm trying to tell you.
So can we redirect back to, you don't want to interact with Snelling because basically we're a bunch of lying assholes. Is that the case?
No, I just don't want to sit here and listen to fucking slanderous, blanket fucking
How have
assertions
we
with
slandered
nothing to
Snelling?
back it up.
So
If
please
you're going to sit
demonstrate
there
how
and say,
Smokey has slandered Snelling. I'd like to see it.
well, show me some proof that Snelling was
Smokey,
somehow saying, old Earth model is okay. Please, that's
are
the
you still
claim.
here, or did
That's
you
the
walk
claim you
away?
motherfuckers are making. So show me where this guy
No,
did that.
I've not made this point. That was Smokey's point.
Well, it was also the fucking retard that made the video we watched's point. That's why I wrote down the question. This guy just said, "Oh, I heard, that's like somebody just, somebody said Ryan puts carrots in his butt. I have no proof of it, so am I going to wander around and say, Ryan does actually put carrots in his butt?"
That would be slander. So you do understand the concept of slander. How have we slandered? Actually, I should say I was Smokey slander.
Please, everyone, go vote in the poll in the side chat, please.
I'll happily say yes, because he's obviously pandering to both sides and being dishonest about the data. And what
I can't believe. I mean, Brandon's just going to doubt everything I read at this point, anyway. I'm not.
Yeah, pretty much. I think what's happened with Brandon is that unless you exactly conform to his beliefs, then you're a stupid dumb fuck that is a lying piece of shit or something, and that's just how it goes.
I think
I provided enough information for a reasonable, objective thinker to come to a conclusion. That's what I think.
By just making a bunch of blanket assertions with no proof.
There's a bunch of blanket assertions. I read you multiple sources.
Please demonstrate these blanket assertions you assert exist.
Again, show me then where Andrew Snelling is saying that the Earth is millions and billions of years old. You're claiming that
wasn't good enough.
Okay. Because the young Earth creationists have proved with every imaginable fact that radiometric dating is totally unreliable. It's fucking la la land. But you want to sit here and pretend that it is. Okay, roll with that then. Do your thing. Again, we're back to the same issue of you're going to get a different interpretation of data because we have a difference in worldview. And a big difference. You want to believe that it's billions of years old? I believe exactly what the Bible says. That's what I believe.
Since I am a theistic evolutionist and not a young Earth creationist,
which is the most retarded fucking position.
Yes,
I've
well,
ever heard.
can
Please
you be
explain
quiet? Can
that.
you be quiet long enough to let someone else talk? I know it's damaging to your ego.
Can you explain that shit, please? I'd love to hear that.
Can you define theistic evolution, Brandon?
No, I want to hear you define it. I want to. I'm dying to hear.
I believe I have reverted back to 5th grade, and I'm interacting with a 5th grader.
Yeah.
Because you talk to a 5th grader and you ask him, why did you punch that kid over there? I didn't punch that kid. You punched that kid.
I'm sitting here asking you to explain your position on this theistic evolution position, and now you're going to ask me, and then you're going to fucking turn around and ask me to define it? You arrogant fucking douchebag, motherfucker,
I was asking
dude.
you to define
this fucking
the
clown
term when you interrupted me and then tried to invert the conversation.
I hope you don't ever go to a bar, dude. You would get your ass kicked, man.
Are you saying that you're threatening me, Brandon, or are you just running your mouth?
No, I said I hope you never go to a bar because you would get your ass whooped. Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's good.
I don't go to bars. I never have.
It would be a dangerous place for a guy like you. Trust me on that.
I think you have a fantasy about me being hurt, Brandon. I just don't think
I really don't, Ryan. I really hope that you get your head out of your ass. I think you're about to learn a valuable lesson and I'm praying for you.
So
Smokey.
all right,
so
let's try another source and see if Brandon is gonna accept this. So this is
Oh,
an
he won't.
article. This is an article from New Creation. Okay, New Creation blog. What should Christians think of radiometric dating? And it actually cites Andrew Snelling himself. Since it takes at least 100 million years for uranium to etch a mature halo into rock, then lots of radioisotope decay has occurred. Answers in Genesis geologist Andrew Snelling says this, quote, the presence of 238U radio halos in granite rocks at many levels throughout the Paleozoic, Mesozoic geologic record is consistent with hundreds of millions of years worth of radioisotope decay having occurred. And this is a citation from Andrew Snelling, 2005.
Huh.
Do you need more? Do I need to go and try and actually get access to an academic site to get like the actual early article? Like, is this enough, or do I have to keep digging?
Well, if we use Brandon's standards, then that means that Snelling must be.
I mean, I will. If you're really going to even deny this, I think you look like a fucking clown, but I will go ahead and keep digging if even this still isn't enough.
Well, I mean, again,
is he a fucking liar yet?
If at this point in time where he, whenever he wrote this, I don't know what his position was at that time. I don't know if he was a Christian then or not.
Yeah,
but anyway,
he was. Yeah, he was.
Well, I certainly do not agree with the idea that
So is he lying here if he said this? If he said this and this is a real quote, was he lying?
Well, I mean, it sure appears that way.
It's just can you just say yes? I mean, my God, I've left it as vague as possible. I'm even saying if this is true.
Well, again,
if what this quote says is true, he would be a fucking liar, right?
Well, I mean, as far as like, this is where
God.
You don't ever even, I'm talking about, I don't know. There are other, there are other factors that could
really
make my decision. Yeah.
Oh, well, what are they? Do tell us.
I don't know. I mean, if I could ask Dr. Andrew Snelling to his face, hey, dude, did you actually say this? Do you mean this? Do you think that? Do you believe that? Are you denying the authority of Scripture? Well, then you need to stand on that side of the line. I'm going to stand on this side of the line. That's my position.
Smokey, I'm going to buy a wrecked junk car tomorrow. I'm going to take it to a mechanic and tell him, hey, I bought a wrecked junk car. It doesn't run right. And then when he proceeds to go through the diagnostic, do you know what I'm going to tell him?
Yeah.
You stupid asshole. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That was a brilliant analogy, Ryan. Fucking. Did you impress yourself?
Well,
I
think
that was
Smokey.
ridiculous.
The sad thing is, Smokey understood that. You didn't.
Oh, I know. I'm just, you're just too far above me, Ryan. I can't grasp your humor, dude. You're just way too fucking brilliant for a little mind like me to understand how you eat. I don't even know what language you're speaking. You're so fucking advanced.
So let's try a third avenue. I asked you and you interrupted me. What is theistic evolution, Brandon? And how does it differ from secular evolution?
Well, I would get the impression, because you're trying to mesh the Bible with evolution, is where you get theistic evolution from versus Big Bang.
I'm curious, why do you pit the Big Bang and theistic evolution against each other?
Well, because I don't think you're taking the position that everything came from nothing. I'm taking the position
I'm taking the
Every-
position that God is the big banger.
Okay, that's what's different as far as you don't believe that everything came from nothing, which is the general scientific consensus.
Prior to the Big
which
Bang, there was
which
nothing.
is scientifically impossible. The irony of it. You know what I mean?
Are you familiar, Brandon, that prior to the Big Bang, there was nothing? And it was the Big Bang that generally is accepted to bring all things into being, even at the subatomic level.
I'm totally familiar with all of the arguments, Ryan. Yes.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, I mean, I've been debating atheists and shit a long time, dum-dum. You don't think I've heard
You know,
all this shit
honestly,
before?
thinking back to my days as an atheist, I might prefer that than the track this conversation is going. But nonetheless, you realize that a theistic evolutionist would point to the Big Bang. Any general belief in Big Bang would dictate that there was a point in time prior to the Big
Okay,
Bang.
dumb fuck,
where
though.
there was
You
nothing.
believe. Okay, the difference between you
Oh,
and
you
and,
have
and
a
more,
question from the comments. Charlie Michaels asks you, why morning and evening are used poetically in Genesis chapter 1 and why day is used literally? Where is the hermeneutical
anytime that
consistency
you
for that?
have yom next to a number, it clearly is talking about a day. So I mean, you guys, these are all these fucking
Charlie,
arguments
come
have been
help us.
addressed,
Come to the panel.
have been addressed 1,000 times. Like, how many times do you have to be shown that when the Bible is talking, Yom was the first day? Anytime you have Yom
No,
and a
you're not
number,
answering
it's
the question
24
asked you.
hours. Oh,
The question
yeah, I
is
know.
two parts. The question is on the
Because
screen.
I
It's in
can't.
two parts.
I know. You're such
So
a
I'll
fucking moron,
reiterate the
dude.
question one more time. Charlie Michaels
Thank you,
asks
Ryan.
you- Charlie Michaels asks you, ask Brandon why morning and evening are used poetically in Genesis 1 and day is used literally. That's part one. Part two, where is the hermeneutical consistency with that?
Okay, now if you were paying attention, I was answering his fucking question before you had to read it to me again. But thanks, Ryan. So, anyways, this is the same fucking bullshit argument. We hear it. We've heard it 1,000 times. This isn't a poetic fucking language here. And if you're trying to claim that Yom could mean a large span of time and all that fucking bullshit, you know what I mean? Go watch a fucking debate with Kent Hovind. We've all seen Kent Hovind debates. How many times has he fucking destroyed this argument? How do you want me to just repeat him for you? That's what irritates
Well, how
me.
about this? How about this? How about when God says to him, you say that I mean, you are saying that like every time the word yom is used in Genesis 1 and 2, it's a literal 24-hour period, right? I mean, every single time.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so when it says the day you eat of it, you will surely die. I mean, that certainly can't be a 24-hour period of time, right?
Well, I think then we see, God's mercy intervening on the situation. But then, of
So he
course, I'm
lied.
sure you're. So
So he
hold
lied.
on. No, he didn't lie.
Well, he said the day
Again,
you eat of it, you will
is
surely
that
die.
what you
and then they
want?
didn't
Is
die.
that what you want, Smokey? Do you want God to be a
Well,
big
I'm just
liar?
saying, are you making God contradicting
Is
himself?
that your hope? Is that your hope?
Okay, because so what I just want to be clear. So God is saying in the 24-hour period that you eat of that fruit, you will die. You said Yom is 24 hours every time it's used in these early iterations.
Anytime in Genesis 1.
So
Yeah,
God
see,
went back
man,
on his word, right? Is that
why
what
are
you're
you
saying?
trying to be sneaky? Why can't
I'm
you
not
just
trying to be
honest?
sneaky, man. I'm trying to figure out how you interpret Yom being 24 hours for sure, literally, in every other context. But in this one, it's clearly talking about at some point in time you will die. It's an age, it's a long but definite period of time. Because Adam doesn't die right away. In fact, he doesn't even die spiritually right away, which is what you guys kind of say to try and diffuse it, because he actually walks with God. Like he still stays committed with God even after the fall. Like he repents and he comes back and he clearly walks with God. That's not the sign of someone who's spiritually dead. Like unless we're all also spiritually dead. And Abraham was spiritually dead. And everyone's been spiritually dead, even though they were committed to God. To be committed to God is to be spiritually alive, which Adam was after the fall, and he repented of his sins. So you can't just say, oh, he spiritually died that day. It's nonsense. Just
Well,
rhetoric.
I think one thing you're not paying attention to, that day they were kicked out of the garden, cut off from the tree of life that day. Now, and then there's another verse where the Bible says, as one day is 1,000 years and 1,000 years is one day. Nobody made it to 1,000 years.
Charlie has another question. Which half of the earth had morning first and which half had evening, apparently?
Couldn't say, buddy.
All right. Next question. Why should we think documents written centuries before or after Genesis can shed light on the use of Yom in Genesis 1? Can Chaucer's use of day shed light on Shakespeare's? Do you understand? That's a complicated question.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not I haven't read a whole lot of Shakespeare. You know what I mean? I had to do what The Merchant and of course Romeo and Juliet, and what was the other one we had?
I think he's talking about that interpretations from different eras, like the words.
Yeah, man. I honestly just don't think that God plays games with your soul. He's all about truth. It's impossible for God to lie. So this is why we have something to
but the idea
on.
that you make your interpretation the only interpretation that's valid, and say that if you take any other interpretation, you're making God a liar, just shows dishonesty.
I'm saying that, dude, I mean, either you're gonna believe and trust his word, or you're not. Either you're gonna go the
believe and
Catholic
trust
route
it without believing young Earth.
Well, I still think that it's but the Bible is, to me, super duper
Do you
clear.
go to hell for believing old Earth, Brandon? What do you think?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that.
He did say it earlier, by the way, when you weren't here.
No, I
walked
didn't.
him through that. I walked him through that. What he'll
I
try
said
to do
it's
is
a
to say he doesn't
dangerous
know who is or
position.
isn't a Christian. But then what he'll do is say, well, because you deny the authority of Scripture, can it really be said that you believe in the God of the Bible or in the Christian faith? So he does believe that. He's just not going to say it up front.
No, yeah. See, again, what is your thing, man? With fucking always trying to paint a false narrative on somebody. Like you think you're a mind reader or what, Ryan? I mean, what is up?
Sorry, what are you walking back your previous statement from earlier in this stream?
No, I'm very clear about my position. My position is that yes, if you are going to deny the authority and veracity of God's word, you're putting yourself into a dangerous position. Is believing in old Earth gonna get you cast into hell? No, you might get some stripes on the other side, but I don't think that's a salvific issue. But it's I still think it's dangerous, and if you're going to sit there and chip away at the foundation of our faith, I don't know. That sounds a little bit like enemy of God to me. That's all I'm saying.
This is the same thing the free gracers do. The free gracers will say that you can't out-sin God, but if you sin bad enough, God, the Grim Reaper, is going to come and he's going to wipe your ass out.
This is actually the thing I exposed Kent Hovind for in the debate as well, which Brandon conveniently missed. There was a point where I asked Kent Hovind whether or not old Earth, young Earth was a salvific issue. And he explicitly said, no, it wasn't. And then later on in the debate, he starts saying about how I deny the Bible and I make Jesus a liar and I make Moses a liar. And I said, well, no, wait a minute. You're saying someone can be saved by denying the Bible and making Jesus a liar and Moses a liar, and now he's caught because now his rhetoric is not matching his original statement. He's contradicted himself because now he knows he wouldn't claim someone can be saved while denying scripture or denying the Bible or making Jesus a liar. And yet he's also on the other side of his fat fucking retard mouth said it's not a salvific issue. While on the other side of his mouth, implicitly saying it is.
But it does need correction.
Hold on real quick. And this is just real important for the audience. This right here shows you the scumbag demon spirit that tends to be in most young earthers, because they do this and they don't have a single itch of their conscience about it. Not one.
How do you, how do you not have a prick of your conscience sitting here?
Well,
you are denying the authority of Scripture.
But Brandon, you're forgetting that Smokey does not identify as a Christian.
Oh, thank you for clearing that up. I mean, why do you even
in other words, you can damn him to hell.
You are
But
so
according to your own work,
stupid,
he's already
dude.
going there. So what's the point in doubly damning him?
Ryan, man, you are fucking just unbelievable, dude. Anyway, I'm just gonna let you. I'm gonna let you be Ryan.
I just will say this: I would have more respect for the young earthers if they would be honest up front.
I don't think any young earther gives a shit about you gaining your respect. So
I'm not talking to you, Brandon. You have no respect for yourself.
You are a ridiculous man. Just ridiculous, man. You are fucking a child. It is sad.
You keep calling everyone a child, Brandon. Who is not a child?
Because look how you behave.
No. You didn't hear what I
don't think you even know. I don't think you have any clue.
Who is not a child?
You mean when I'm talking to like you, Dave, Smokey, and fucking all of these fucking idiots? You guys act like
day
children.
After day after day to talk to we mental children, apparently.
No, I try to pop in and talk to Dave, and then somehow you always show up. It seems like
I am part
anytime I pop on, fucking Ryan, give Ryan 5 minutes and he'll be there, man, every time.
Not exactly. No, I mean that is blatantly dishonest.
No, it's pretty
Smokey,
fucking accurate.
I don't think we're going to get anywhere with Brandon. But I think you've met.
Yeah, you're not going to convert me. I'm not going to sit there and call Andrew Snelling a liar and shit. No.
Well, yeah, I established that. I think that's been well established at this point.
I don't know how you. I don't know how you. How it works in your brain. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
No, I'm not. As far as
much information from so many sources tonight.
So again, the one little quote the quote that you pulled up, your is all hinged upon if whether or not radiometric dating is accurate, and it's not. It's been proven it's not accurate.
Oh my god,
man! This is why I've used the mechanic analogy. He just doesn't. He does not get it.
I'm not. Yeah, and you know what? It's too late. Here's the thing: honest people will know what to do with what was presented tonight.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me.
Hopefully, honest people will.
I would be more attuned to believe young Earth creationism if young Earth creationists were not a bunch of frauds. And although not all of them are, it seems to be fairly common within that sphere. And I want nothing to do with it.
Well, there you go. Then I mean, you're kind of in the same camp as Dave, as you think that your little fucking temper tantrums that you're gonna throw and burn Bibles and shit because human beings.
I've never burned the Bible. I
know. I'm not. I'm just saying though. You have the same kind of tantrum, but in a different form. You know what I'm saying?
Frankly,
it's the same type. It's the same type of behavior, but in a different form. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I've never burned.
Yeah, you're never gonna let me finish a fucking sentence ever. But that's cool. You just always say I interrupt you. It's fucking ridiculous. But go ahead.
Would you like to yell at me some more?
There's lots of things I'd like to yell at you about. I think you know what you did to Spider was absolutely
Okay.
unmanly, unchristian. It
Moving
was
on to another
illegal.
subject.
You know, you committed perjury.
Brandon, can you stay off of that? Can you stay off of that right now, please? This is
Well,
not
it's
about any
dishonest.
of that.
It just proves out that
You
he
know
is.
Ryan's not going to engage, and
Yeah,
it's
I
not the right
cannot
time. If you
legally
want to
engage
engage
on
with
that
that, we can
subject.
engage with that on a later date.
Well, there's proof that Ryan is a dishonest person. That's all I'm pointing out.
Well, I'm not terrified of this proof at all because Brandon can't ever give proof yet. The proof exists. You better believe me, jackass.
What? Yeah, you committed perjury on the stand, motherfucker. We
Moving
have
on.
proof of it. Yeah, we have proof of that.
Who is we?
There is proof of it. We that
is
know that you're
we?
full of shit. We
Who
that know that
is-
you're full of shit. Yeah.
Who is we?
We are they who know you're full of shit.
Huh, that sounds
That you
interesting.
committed
I should hope
perjury
you're not trying
on the
to act
stand.
as ghost counsel for somebody.
No, I never would, dumbass. Why would I do that?
Just wondering.
Yeah, he doesn't need my help at all. You already did a great job of fucking yourself.
Well, moving along.
That's really all I had. If you guys want to give your final statements, I'll just wrap this up. I don't have.
Nah, I'm good. Yeah, man, I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate it though.
All right. Have a good night, Brandon.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan. Anything you want to leave with? Ryan? Did you bounce out? The hell was that? God damn it, Sparkle. You always wait to come in at the very fucking end when I'm getting ready to like wrap this shit up. Why do you do that?
Because I'm me, I guess. I don't know. But if you are ending, then I guess I'll leave. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that Brandon is a
Fuck
fucking
you do
idiot.
that every fucking time. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just wanted to say that I've been listening, and maybe it's just me, but his laugh drives me insane. Like, does it drive anyone else insane? Or you just ignore it? Like,
I think I tuned it out, honestly.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Did
Right.
Brandon Rage quit? What happened?
No, we're wrapping it up. I don't
Mm.
have anything left to say, so I was giving everyone their final word.
Well,
And of course, per usual, when I tell everyone we're going to wrap it up and give our final word, sure as fuck, you're up here, Sparkle. Finally,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have been me if I didn't do that.
Well, Smokey, you know, you have to give him
every
a bit of
fucking
an,
time.
You have to give Sparkle a bit of an indulgence because it's part of your channel. You know, it's become part.
Well,
of
clearly,
your
I let him in. Clearly, I do indulge him because I let him in every fucking time.
I know. So you're the asshole, not Sparkle.
That
Well,
is
I guess
true,
that's
Ryan.
one way to look at it.
That is true.
But this is an interesting conversation, and I don't want to paint all young earthers as like Brandon. But seriously, when you interact with these Christian versions of cringelord atheists, it makes me seriously think if that's the best young earth creationism has to offer, even if they dress it up with a PhD, I don't want anything to do with it.
I'm even using Christian creationist sources that are citing Andrew Snelling's statements
Yeah,
that
well,
are
it doesn't really work.
contrary to young earth perspective. And even though I'm reading it, even though I'm showing without, I mean, he just, no matter how many times I show it, how many things over and over again. Oh, well, I'm not convinced. He's like a fucking atheist. It's like you sit there and you'll give him evidence after evidence after evidence. And no matter what you say to him, he'll be, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Brandon is that type of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He's convinced himself that something is true. And no, this young earth scientist, this champion of the young earth cause can't certainly be a blatant fucking fraud, charlatan, and liar. Can't be true. So all of these things, these multiple sources and arguments that Smokey is giving me, they just must all be bullshit. I'll believe any other random singular sourced conspiracy theory horse shit I find on the internet, but I'm not going to believe the constant over and over again references and evidences of Andrew Snelling being a liar. I'm not going to believe the multiple sources and multiple statements of that, but I'll believe uncorroborated statements about the Smithsonian destroying giant bones and fucking, you know, young Earth
Catholic
viability
Church.
and you know, the young Earth interpretation and you know, the historicity of the King James and the interpretation of it being the only true word of God. He's going to believe all this other fringe shit that has basically no evidence or justification for it. But you give him fucking 10 different things to prove that Andrew Snelling is a fucking liar and he's still not convinced.
Well, not only that, Smokey, but remember, he doesn't understand how evidence works. He doesn't have an empirical grounding for what he believes.
Yeah,
he simply believes it, and you're the retard for failing to believe it.
Yeah.
No. If you want to be a young Earth creationist, that that doesn't bother me. That being said, though, at least be honest with the data.
I feel like this is probably Bill. Or yeah, it kind of seems like
more than likely.
Yeah,
That's
Bill,
Bill
what
or
the
one of
actual
those-
fuck, man? Can you please fuck on off out of here, please? Why are you even here? How are you even subscribed to this channel, for fuck's sakes? Piss on off. Anyway, okay, well, go ahead and say your final words, Ryan, if you have any, and I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm fucking tired anyway.
Oh, basically, how do I say this? This conversation just reminds me of why I started asking questions regarding the young Earth creationist issue, which ironically you had a lot to do with, Smokey, if you recall.
I remember our chat about that, and we walked through the old Earth interpretation of Genesis 1. I remember doing that on your channel. Yeah.
Right, and I think you may have it somewhere. I know I don't have that footage on anymore, unfortunately.
It might be somewhere in the archive. I'd really have to go digging for it. I don't know.
Nonetheless, it's this kind of behavior that you see from the young Earth creationists that makes one start to question. And frankly, I'm fine if you want to disagree. I'm not going to damn you to hell or say you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or you're some dumbass luthologist or whatever. If you want to believe it, fine. I just can't understand why these people think that it attracts people to Christianity when they're so blatantly dishonest regarding their data or even their own statements.
Right. Yeah, spot on.
That said, I will talk to you soon, and y'all take care.
Sounds good, Ryan. Take care. All right, guys. I guess that's all I had. I figured I'd do. I was gonna breach this topic with Brandon over on Dave's channel, but Dave wanted to go through his the Catholic stuff that was happening earlier today. So I just came over here, opened up a stream. I'm tired. I'm gonna phone it in. Call it a night. Man, you keep talking about this lockup shit. No one's going to fucking YouTube jail, man. Calm the fuck down. This dumb bullshit that they have, this stupid side chat. Time out the trolls. I don't give a shit. It's gonna be a while before I do another stream on this channel anyway. This is a last minute thing I threw together because I wanted to run through this thing with Brandon. But whatever, it's over with. It's done. You guys stay tuned. I am gonna open up a new channel here at some point. Also, I'm gonna get a Kick set up and some restreaming stuff figured out. So bear with me. A little bit of a work in process. We're gonna rebuild and start stronger than ever. If you guys aren't in the Discord, you should be. Fuck, I'm not even gonna go through the effort of posting the link right now. Reach out to me, post a comment in the video or something, and I'll give you a link so that you get into the Discord. That's where you'll have information on where my channel is going to be and when I open it up and all that stuff. So thank you guys for joining. A little bit of an interesting one. It's late at night. I'm probably going to bed soon. You guys take care and have yourselves a great evening. Smokey is signing out.